Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I am the host for Real Talk with Miss G and the Gang, and I also work for the law office of Vincent Davis. I have only Dr. Fowler with me for now. Um, um, Auntie Barb is running late, and I think Darren might or might not join us late. I'm not sure. So I wanted to talk about. I want to talk to grandmothers. This is so important because I get a lot of calls from mothers who are reported by the grandmothers, and the mothers never done drugs, never done anything wrong, but it's just power control. Okay, I'm talking to those power control individuals. Okay, not all grandmothers are bad. The power control individuals are either a grandparent or not, or a spouse. They could be, you know, narcissistic individual. This grandmother, the daughter gave her legal guardianship of her kids. She has 6 kids. The grandmother, until the daughter is on her feet, because she lost her job, she lost her spouse, she lost everything. Then the mother said, "You know what, mom, take my daughters, I mean my kids, and so you can take them to school, whatever, until I'm on my own 2 feet again, and then I will take them back from you." And she did that. She got on her feet. She took, her mother gave her the kids back, whatever. Then a few months later, the two teenagers wanted, two daughters, they're teens at the time, and wanted to go visit the grandma. They don't like staying with her, but they want to visit her. So when so basically the legal guardianship was never revoked. She just kept it going. And the daughter trusted her mom enough to say, you know what, she's not going to do anything. So even if it does, she's not going to take my kids from me. She's my mom. Then her daughter said, Mom, I'm going to pick up the kids around 9 o'clock at night. And then her daughter went to pick them up around 9:30. I guess she ran into some kind of traffic or something. The mother retaliated against the daughter and said, "You came late. You said 9. You came at 9:30. You're not going to take the kids." And the teenagers were like, "No, I want to go with my mom. I don't want to stay here." Then, anyways, it resulted into a verbal fight, an argument, and then the grandmother called the police. The police got involved, and then the social workers. The grandmother told the police that her daughter scratched her. The teenage daughter said, "No, that's not true. Mom didn't even touch her. It was grandma that scratched herself." Scratched herself. And she called the police. And then the police didn't do anything. I guess they told the mother to leave, and and the children left with the mom. And then later on that day, the grandmother reported kidnapping. She called the police department and reported kidnapping. So CPS got involved, removed the teenage daughters, put them in a group home. One of the teenage daughters learned about drugs in that group home from a 50-year-old man that CPS knew about. And guess what? She kept running away, running away, running away, going to the mom, running away. She wants the safe place to go to, which is the mother. She's the safe woman that she wants to be with. But CPS doesn't want that. They want the children outside on the street doing drugs. Basically, that's what it is. So that 50-year-old man took advantage of her, of the 13-year-old, and she died last month. So I was talking to the mom today, and I was in tears. The mother is so confused. She doesn't know what to do. She said, it's like she didn't have drugs, nothing in her system, never done drugs. never been in a domestic violence. So instead of reuniting her with the children, they take the children from her. 2 kids were adopted, and guess who has the 2 youngest kids? The grandmother, the same witch that made that false report against her daughter. And in fact, why didn't they give her the two teenage daughters if she was such a good grandmother? They put those girls in harm's way, introduced them to drugs, sex trafficking, 50-year-old man taking advantage of innocent children. So, to you out there, grandparents, shame on you. Shame on you. I'm going to say straight out, shame on you. Because just because you have a disagreement with your daughter, because she was a half an hour late, you decide to ruin the children's lives because you have a power control issues. The other grandparents that I would like to speak to is the fact that CPS will turn you against your daughters, your sons, or your sons-in-laws or your daughter-in-laws because CPS wants you guys to be alienated from one another. But then you believe what the social workers are saying because in your mind, you think the system works. Well, I have news for you. The system is broken and is designed that way. It's actually designed to sell children. That's what the system is designed for. They're so used to the money coming in, they want more and more and more. You think social workers are not watching the shows? They are. In one of Davis's show, just so I can tell you guys this, I was glancing the other day and I was looking, and then comments were from 2 social workers saying social workers don't get incentives. That's not true. They were like defending the social workers. And then I replied and I said, are you guys social workers? Sounds like to me you are. Because if you're defending them, then you are for them and you are with them. Because 100% certain, for sure, that they get incentive bonuses for every child they remove. And if social workers are watching my show right now, you guys are literally a shit show. Shame on you. Shame on you, whoever makes false allegations. Shame on you, because you will reap what you sow. Social workers, you will reap what you sow. Judges, you will also reap what you sow. District attorneys, you will also reap what you sow. Grandparents who make false allegations because they want to be in control of the grandkids, well, you will also reap what you sow. It is disgusting to me just to know that you guys go against your own flesh and blood. Now, I understand if your daughter is on the street doing drugs, doesn't want to change her lifestyle. I get it. I get it. But really, though, just to be in control, you would destroy your family? Same things with fathers who don't want to pay child support. The first thing they go to, oh man, you should report her to CPS. They'll help you. They'll take the kids from her, man. You don't have to pay a penny. In fact, you can take child support from her. You think that doesn't destroy the children? But then again, if you're doing that deliberately, then you have no remorse. You have absolutely no compassion. Therefore, you don't give a shit about your kids. That's, to me, is like you have to be literally evil or possessed by demons to forcefully and make allegations, false allegations against a mother A mother, a mother's love can never be replaced. Ever. It will never be replaced by your girlfriends, your boyfriends. Never. There's a special bond. But like I said, if you do indeed have a daughter or a son who's on the street, doesn't want to change their ways, then I understand grandma being involved. I get it. Because that's the second thing to the mom is the grandma. But it hurts me to hear a mother cry over her 13-year-old daughter who just died. And CPS didn't remove the 50-year-old man from her life. No, no. Oh, no. CPS, shame on you, social workers. Shame on you. Shame on you. I'm trying so hard not to cuss. I'm trying so hard. So hard. Today is the Orthodox Egyptian Good Friday. Today is Good Friday for us. Today, and I hear from mothers who are destroyed because of money and control and power. All you judges, all you social workers, all you district attorneys, all you court appointed piece of crap attorneys, you're all going to reap what you sow. And anyone that intentionally hurts a good mom, your days are numbered by God himself. God don't like ugly. Don't take God for a fool. He is so slow to anger, and you are so blessed that he is so slow to anger. But when your time comes, you're going to reap it so badly that you're going to wish you could have done things differently. Dr. Fowler, you can talk to us about what you just heard about this mother and her mother. What's your opinion on that? You're muted. You're muted, Dr. Fowler. Okay.
Well, my opinion is, well, first of all, before I offer my opinion, if you don't mind, I would like to greet you appropriately for Good Friday. Wish you a blessed and expansive Good Friday and an amazing observance of the Good Friday for all of your viewers and your supporters, for the people in the office, for Mr. Davis, for the members of the panel who are here, and for those who are not. This time of year is still a very sobering time. It's a time of observing the mysteries and the miracles of the universe, especially those that were worked through the hands and the feet and the knees of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so grateful to be able to take a moment and give this moment the due acknowledgement for you and your viewers and for other members, people in the world who are also observant of this time, Good Friday. And then when it comes to the issue of grandparents and grandmothers and things like that, I am a grandmother, as some of your viewers may know. And it's my observation over the years that most of the problems or most of the adverse, malicious, and vindictive reportage to CPS comes from close blood relatives, close family members, close associates, people who really know the person with the children very intimately
Mhm.
tend to be the ones who trigger this adverse reportage, sometimes calculating methodically
Mhm.
where it's going to go. They know, like a diagram would show you, well, this is going to happen, and this is
Mhm.
going to happen, and then this is going to happen. Sometimes they really don't calculate how far this is really going to go.
Mhm.
And sometimes it comes back on them.
Mhm.
So if we use the case that you just cited, if I think of it as it's a hypothetical for me. It's real to you. It's a hypothetical for me. So because I'm a little bit more distanced from it. So hypothetically, the grandmother in that case, going back to the night that the mother arrived late at night, just looking at the fact pattern myself
Mhm.
from a more detached point of view, let's just imagine that more was going on. Maybe grandma was fed up with, you came late, the kids are all settled, it's time to go to bed. Then you got the teenagers who suddenly see that whatever mom, I'm just throwing out another potential scenario. The
Mhm.
teenagers may see, whatever mom is flashing, oh, it's way better than what we're getting here.
Mhm.
We don't even have space ranchers here. My God, this is a horrible place. It's like the dungeon, you know. But here comes mom in one scenario. I'm going to give you space rangers. I'm going to give you rainbows and lollipops. And she's not giving you that. It's terrible. You're suffering. So I've seen that dynamic too, where teenagers are easily beguiled. They don't know the
Mhm.
background of the circumstance. They just know that somehow in their minds, teenagers are easily influenced to think that their experience right now is a deficit. There's something that they're not getting. And of course, there's something that they're not getting if mom and dad are not together, and mother's under duress, and she's had all of these other life challenges. And just trying to put all of that together. And here, here's grandma, 6 children, not of her own direct creation. Then you've got the dynamic of the mother daughter relationship. Now, no matter how grown up daughter is, in some ways, in the family dynamic, daughter is now reduced again, in a sense, to the level of a symbolic sibling of her own children.
Mhm.
Why? Because the children are under the watch care of grandmother, and in a sense, so is the daughter again. Even though maybe in this case she was living independently in her own home and working and things like that, she's still dependent on the grandmother. So in the broader sense of the world, grandma's still providing, and she has a point of view of life. I can't determine whether it's always right or always wrong, but I think about the duress of being a grandparent, maybe having 6 grandchildren to care for. So that's one side that I just would like to throw in there. I can't ever uh, validate anyone making a call to Child Protective Services unless it is the absolute last resort. Because in so many cases, we have family members, other people of the clergy, counseling therapists, advisors, older people who are resourced that we can reach out to if we really think that children are being wrongfully treated before we go to CPS. That's for anyone. That's for everyone.
But see, these
Just do
people
not
have
make
job security, though. Counselors are mandated reporters. All these people are mandated reporters. They have job security. Because, see, I don't agree. I mean, I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you on that one. Because the grandmother, she's just controlling.
well, I'm not talking about, I cannot speak to that particular situation
Mm-hmm.
that you're in because I don't know the people. I'm just saying, when you ask me, broadly speaking, in terms of what I've seen in terms of the family dynamic. No,
Mm-hmm.
and my answer again is no. No one should ever use CPS to corrupt or to correct or to punish or to vindicate themselves. Ever. No matter what.
It's not even
No
about
matter
that.
what.
That grandmother, by
And
the way, she's not addressed as grandma in court. She's addressed as a foster parent because they had her get her foster license. So, and technically speaking, in front of the court's eyes, she's not really the grandma. She's a foster parent. So she took everything from her daughter just because of a disagreement. That really, I mean, and I want to talk to the teenagers right now. And I don't know how, or I don't know how, I don't even know if they can listen to the show. I don't know. But don't ever doubt your
oh,
parents. Don't ever doubt your parents. Don't ever doubt, for, don't doubt your parents. Your parents love you. Your parents love you. And your parents fight for you or fought for you. Your parents did everything they can to get you, but you're being held captive by a demonic entity in the United States of America that absolutely removed God from every which way possible,
mhm,
that don't care about the Bible or Christian people, nothing, but they're okay with the corruption. They're okay with it.
mhm. A
The
matter
Dalai
came to
Lama,
mind in
the
some
Dalai Lama
recently.
video. Did you watch the Dalai Lama video, Dr. Fowler? Did you watch that video? The Dalai Lama, I
Well,
shared a link where the Dalai Lama is telling a 7 or 8 year old to suck his tongue on national television. And the news reporters made it look funny. I would like to know if any one of you would do something like that. I wonder if your kids would be stolen from you. But what do you think about the Dalai Lama if you've seen the video, Dr. Fowler?
well, I'm the person who sent it to you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What was your thought about it?
So I have
You're disgusted. I know that part.
beyond words.
Yeah. It's so disgusting. I wanted to vomit. I just saw his little tongue. I can only imagine what the other part of his body, how small it is. But I mean, it's like
Well,
he looked like a
while
rat.
we're on the subject, the what's worse is, you see, in my opinion, when you're looking at psychosis and
Mm-hmm.
then massive psychosis, you're looking at the massive propagation of a disease. These are mental, spiritual diseases,
Mm-hmm.
dis-ease, people in a state of disease. So here is an act, but here's a commentator dismissing it like, okay, well, that's just, this is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another contingency of people going, if you think that that's wrong, woe betide you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the new age when one must agree with whatever is out there or else.
Exactly. And another thing too, I had a call today and it's a CPS investigation, and I want you guys to know this. This lady called me when the incident happened. That was a week ago. She called me again today, and she asked question. Even though I spoke to her for an hour and a half, explaining everything to her. She asked me today if CPS can talk to her son, her 15-year-old son, if they can, if basically she's asking, can she allow her CPS, should she allow CPS to speak with them? So the son said, because her and her husband are going through bad divorce, her son told the therapist that his dad hit him when he was little. He spanked him with the belt and he pulled his hair. The therapist asked the child or the son, were your mom and dad married at the time? And I'm sure he said yes. So the mother thinks it's going to be okay. No. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to tell her she failed to protect because she didn't report the father. Then they're going to go after the father for child abuse. Then he's going to be on the state CACI list as abusive. Child abuser. He's not going to be able to work. He's not going to be able to keep his job or pay you child support, mom. Mom, and it's going to backfire on you. When you guys go through a separation or a divorce, please do it peacefully. Unless you're a narcissistic piece of crap, then there is no peace in you. I get that part. Talking about the ones who are not narcissists and just angry with each other for whatever reason. If you love your children, you value your children, don't argue. Don't argue. Make it peaceful for the sake of your child. Co-parent together. If your ex is busy the week he's supposed to have the child, be flexible with him or be flexible with her. This is, your disagreement is not the child's fault. Grow up. For the love of God, grow up and change your mind. I mean, like, renew your mind, renew how you think, renew how you live your life. Because you're neglecting the one thing God gave you as a gift that so many parents out there can't get pregnant. You guys have a gift and you're neglecting that gift because of your ego. Because of, it's all about power. The kids pay the price for this. And you're opening the door for the demon to walk in. And then when I say demons, I mean social workers to walk in your home to remove your flesh and blood from you. Stay away from, and I said that on my show last night, there are no such thing as friends. At the end of the word friends, you're going to see END. There's an end. Be careful who you entertain and be careful who you bring in your circle of marriage or family or children. Be careful, because that would be the very first person that will actually report you to CPS. Even if you've known them for 30 years, even if you've known them for 23 years. That happened all the time. My best friend reported me to CPS. How long have you known her? Oh, 30 years, 24 years, or 23 years. But why did she do that? Because she was jealous of her relationship, her beautiful marriage relationship with her husband. She wanted to have what she has. She was jealous. Jealousy is not from God. That's demonic. When you're jealous, you're literally demonic. Because if you're not happy, really truly happy for someone, then you're useless. Then you don't know what love is. You have no idea. And if you don't know what love is, then you don't know who God is. Because God is love. He is. And you people out there are clueless, clueless whatsoever. Protecting children? Where is that? Protecting children. The first thing a neighbor would do if the mother is knocked out because she was up all night and her toddler opens the door, like all of us did at one point, walks out the door, the first thing the neighbor does, knowing who the mother is, call the police or call CPS. Instead of you, neighbor, taking the child, escorting the child home and say, hey, mom, be careful. You know, you don't want your son hurt. You don't want your daughter hurt. But if you need me to help you, let me know. I'm here for you. That's what a neighbor is. But unfortunately, we have idiotic human beings who actually love the fact they can destroy people. And that's how it works in America. And sadly, there is no love. Love is very, it's not even real. Love is not even real. Love is fake. So fake. Therefore, guess what? You're literally entertaining somebody who's going to hurt you. Just remember that. Keep that in mind. Be careful who you entertain. Do not ever speak to a social worker. Ever doing your investigation, don't ever speak to the social worker without lawyering up. I told this mother today, I said, I explained everything to you last week. I explained it to your husband as well. And I explained it to your mother. And I told you, they're not here for you. They're here against you. And you need to lawyer up. So she hasn't lawyered up yet. And the social worker is coming today. Today at 5 o'clock, she says, to speak with her and her son. I told her it's the cheapest time and the most crucial time is the beginning of any investigation. So, guys, I'm just letting you know right now that don't be fooled and lawyer up. Please, I'm begging you, lawyer up. And think about your children. And I want to dedicate a show, one show, to all the children that were removed from parents. And I want to speak to these children. And I want parents, if they ever know where their children is, to share that with them. Because I'm going to speak on your behalf. And that includes Darren, daughter. I want to speak on parents' behalf with these children because they don't know the true story. They don't know what CPS is capable of because they're so innocent. And I would love to let them know that their mom and dad didn't show up on a visit. It's not because they didn't show up. It's because the social workers would not allow them to show up. It's because the foster parent canceled the visitation, blamed the parents for not showing up, or blamed the grandparents or the aunts and the uncles, telling the children they don't want to see them. How dare you lie to a child? How dare you confuse a child's love? How dare you, social workers? How dare you? You make me so sick That you don't care a 13-year-old walking the street alone, being sex trafficked, given drugs, being introduced to all kinds of things. How dare you? But you're keeping her away from the only mother, the only love she knows. You guys are so evil. And I'm not crying because I'm weak. No, no, no. I'm crying for that 13-year-old who cried out, but no one heard her. I'm crying for the mother who can't stop crying for her daughter because no one heard her. I'm crying for all the children out there who are being abused by actual parents and their boyfriends, and no one hears them because you're so focused on kids who are not being abused. You guys are evil indeed. You're evil. Evil. Hey, Darren, why aren't you on the show? Do you see Darren's message, Dr. Fowler? Dr. Fowler, do you see Darren's message?
I just said I see it now. Forgot I had you on mute here. There's some background noises that I wanted to
It's okay.
keep from filtering it.
He's,
No,
he's
right.
logging in right now.
Mhm.
I um I want you guys to
Sometimes,
I want you guys to email me names of your children, their full name, and your name, and address yourself as mom and dad. And I have a prayer group that I will divide the names because I have over 100 names so far. But I'm gonna divide the names, and and we're all gonna pray. We're all gonna pray, and that's how it's gonna be every single day, every hour. So I need you guys to email me the names, like I said, and in the subject line, just put prayer. Okay. I am going to share my email with you guys right now. Go ahead, Dr. Fowler. You were going to say something.
well, I was going to say that one of the remedies that keeps coming to my mind is the establishment of a federal agency. To begin with that, we don't have a federal agency. We don't have federal oversight. We don't have federal enforcement of any rules. We don't have federal reportage. We don't have a federal agency that appoints grandparents and grandmoms and even children to provide oversight and to participate uh, in these cases. And I think that alone would make a market difference because then you see we would be able to get at the main the funding and at least begin oversight. It's not a long-term permanent solution, but it's got to be a viable start. If we just
I
wait and do
tried.
this state to state, I just don't think.
I tried to do that 2 years ago, and
Okay.
I was stopped in every which way because they don't want anyone to get help. They want people to rely on their court-appointed attorneys because they can control these little demons. They can control
Yes,
them.
but you see, collectively, yes, and maybe I'm spouting theory, but in theory, we still have a nation, and in theory, we have millions of patriots. And in theory, we have people who are capable of standing up, you see, and it's the people and voicing our insistence, just like we voice our insistence on a lot of things. And we cause federal laws and federal oversight to be implemented on so many other things. So I suppose then, what does it take for the movement that is in the now to really gain the immediate momentum and power and authority and voice?
I am I am I am talking to a couple of people. Uh, they're high. They're up there. Um, I want to. I honest to God want to. I want to do something to get people help financially, where it's only for CPS cases, not divorce, not no criminal, just CPS cases only, only. And I already emailed them, and I haven't heard back from them yet. It could be because of the holidays, but I I've been thinking a lot about this. But 2 years ago, like I said, I started I tried a nonprofit, but it didn't go anywhere. It didn't even begin. It's like I had obstacles every which way I went. It's not The thing is, most Americans believe the system works. Most Americans think that the reason you don't have your grandchildren is because you're bad. You're a bad person. The reason a mom doesn't have her children is because she's a bad mom. That's not the case. So the people that need help are truly the juvenile dependency parents. They need help. And I mean, what do you think about your state, Pennsylvania, Dr. Fowler? If you can start something like that there. Can you hear me?
There was a little distortion. Can you repeat the question?
In your state, what do you think about starting something like that there? Like if you know people, if you can.
Well, I'm open to participating in something like that. One of the things that I really think that I would like to do next in a very serious way is follow up on, remember you had a viewer called Joel, and he had suggested lobbying. I
Lobbying?
really would like to entertain. Mhm. Yes, I really would like to entertain a way to get to the legislature.
Okay. Do you want to like discuss it with me later after the show?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
I wanna know exactly. I don't. Oh, was it that skinny guy? Was that him? He was really really skinny. The guy that was on the show, was that when last year?
I don't remember seeing him. It was maybe, let's see, one of the early shows that you just did with the gang. Maybe the first night. Someone called Joel from Pennsylvania suggested
Oh, I
going to
didn't see
the
him. It was a
legislature.
comment. Okay, got it, got it. Okay.
Well, he had
I
the
thought
last
it was.
name of the
Mm.
senator, right? He had the last name of a senator, I believe that guy did.
Oh my God.
I thought last name started with an S. I thought I might have it here. But at any rate, that's something that I would like to do.
I'm just making myself look good, and then I'll turn the camera on.
No worries. And
I got a lot
I would like
today.
uh, there's some other things that I have in mind also, Mr. P.
Dr. Bowler, fill me in. What have you
My
guys been
dear?
talking about today? What have you guys been talking
Well,
about so far today?
well, to give you a brief synopsis, we started out by using a case study, that's what I'll call it, of a grandmother who was a custodial grandmother of 6 of her maternal grandchildren by one daughter, who does not have a noted history of drugs and alcohol or, living on the hard side. And there was a moment of contention when there was a drop off or pick up with one of the teenagers, and grandmother made adverse, malicious reportage to CPS. And the 2 grandchildren that were taken and put into custody have now been exposed to, let's just summarize it by saying, the worst ills
Yes, of
that can
course.
happen to young people.
That's yes. The same has
Right.
happened to people.
So yeah, so my response was, by my observation over the years in every capacity, both, as an instructor in the School of Social Work at Temple University, and just as a person, almost every one of these adverse and malicious reports, false
Yeah.
reports, is done by someone who is of an intimate family relationship, kin relationship, friendship, or some intimate tie with the person that they're falsely reporting. They know how many children you have, they know your habits, and for some reason they feel that this call is going to get them a level of satisfaction.
Yeah. Instead, it destroys a child.
Yeah, so it's like, in a sense, it's like a lot of other crimes. I would posit that a lot of crime in general is intimate. A lot of crime is committed by people against other people that they know.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I've been doing a lot of research this week. I'll turn this on in 1 second here. I just got to fix the lights. Is if you read a lot of this doctrine that they're talking about, these rules and these laws, the ASFA, all of this stuff, they don't say take your kids. They say do everything possible to not remove that child. The problem is these CPS agents are rogue. That's the problem. They're they're a for-profit organization that you were just talking about that the government has just let run loose. I mean, they have money in their budgets to pay off PCPs to, like they call it a bonus, but they have $3.5 million in the state of Maine just alone for a fund that they can pay whatever or whenever they want to donate to any PCP that supports them in a way that seems fit to them. I mean, I don't know what you guys call that, but I think they call that a bribe in most places. These people are given way too much power, way too much money, and no one pays attention to them. But how do they not pay attention? I mean, how many Americans right now have just today lost their kids? Just today, if you do by the statistics. So, like you were saying, Miss Dr. Fowler, there are so many of us and not enough of them that if all of us would freaking ante up and freaking come together and fight these son of a bitches, this would be over. But everybody's too afraid. They're too afraid of what, oh, well, I don't want them to come back and get my other kid. Well, what does it matter when you don't have any of your kids? Who cares at this point? Like it's unbelievable how the people themselves don't stand up and fight against this.
Because we're allowing them to have power over us.
Correct.
We're allowing these demons to have power over the children of God.
You guys, at a later time when we're not talking in public, I have some thoughts about that, and they're serious. I'd be more than happy to share privately. But if we have 80 million patriots And then we have the rest of the nation who are not patriots, but they have children. And then when you see all of these famous people that are celebrities and, sports all stars, and their children are subjected to every degradation in the world. Look at their kids and imagine the neglect and the abuse that their kids are subjected to. And you never hear about any of them having their kids taken away by
Yep.
CPS. Why?
Right.
Because
They've got
they're
plenty of
witnesses.
enemies.
Right. It's
There's
the money.
Hollywood's run by Satan.
Money.
Hollywood's run by
Money.
Satan. We know this.
Yep.
You know.
Satanic. They don't touch Satans.
Uh-uh.
Satanic people. They're demons. They don't touch the cartel's children
No.
because they're
Nope.
afraid of them.
I met a woman yesterday that she came over to talk to me. We talked for like 3 hours yesterday. Her son was taken. Sorry, I'm just turning this stuff on. Her son was taken. Well, this was 15 years ago. He was gone for 18 months. He witnessed his father. How did it go? His father had killed himself, I believe. Or no, his father was shot by a sheriff right in front of him and killed. CPS took him because of that incident. Had him for 18 months. When he came home, he has so many mental disabilities now because of the shock of everything that took place. The father, CPS taking them, all of this stuff, that he's an invalid now. She has to take care of him for the rest of her life, which she's fine with because she's a mom first. But all of this trauma came when that kid needed his family most. These bastards came and took her out of that, and then took him out of that, and then brought him into a situation that he should have never even been put into, a place that no one cared about him, made to feel like he was an outcast. All this is just ridiculous. In my case, when they took my daughter, they brought her to a foster home. It took me 30 minutes to find out that they do voyeur cam porn, that they do all kinds of things that I'm not going to say that they did do these things with children, but definitely the chances of it happening were there. The family that she was brought to, the mother, the kids that were living there, they witnessed the mother stabbing the father to death. Like, this is what my daughter got brought to. The kids burnt the house down that they lived in as children. Like, so we protected Nina from tripping on the street on a crack. And these people bring them into homes where there's way more damage than needs to be introduced to some young, innocent child. They just don't care. CPS agents don't care. They think that there's someone, you give a 23-year-old that just graduated from college a badge that says that you can play God. Can you imagine the power influx that these people must feel? And if they're already not right in the head, and if they're already part of an organization that is established, like maybe a Masonic family or whatever, they're going to run rogue. You're not going to tell them what to do. They're going to tell you. These people, they're the power complex that these families are a part of. They're named families. They've been established. Their bloodlines are in politics for a long time. You don't stand a chance. And these senators and legislators are freaking pussies. They really are. They are afraid to stand up. I email every day, legislators. And I'm not talking about the big name senators in Washington. I'm talking about like the little ones in the districts in the state of Maine. I get 0 responses. 0. Finally, Representative Tiffany Roberts, after 2 years, just emailed me the other day. Why? Why are these legislators that write the rules not coming to the aid of the American people, standing up and saying these rules are not intended to work this way? Because they're cowards. That's why. And that's the bottom line. It's just absolutely mind-blowing that we stand for this in a country that we say we are free. We are not free as long as we allow the government to empower themselves over us. We are not free.
Nope.
We, the people, don't mean shit because
And
we are not the people.
nope.
The government has taken over. And everybody is so wrapped up in the Kardashians and all this other bullshit that they don't even realize what's going on.
What
And
do you mean
guess
in the
what?
What do you mean in the Kardashians?
I'm just saying, everybody's so wrapped up in what's going on in Hollywood and NFL football and all this stuff. They're not even paying attention to the fact that kids every day in the United States are being brought to slaughterhouses to have their organs harvested. No one pays attention to this stuff. But you know what? You ask someone who's Kim Kardashian, and I bet you they can tell you her family, her bra size, everything else. That's a fact. Like it's just absolutely ridiculous where the priorities of this country and the people in it have went to.
Let
People
me
should
just
be
tell John.
ashamed.
John, we are alive. We are live, honey. He asked the question if we are live. We are live. Look, my mission is to expose CPS to the world. Expose
Yep,
them.
and you do a damn good job of that.
Really, I don't think I'm doing anything. I
That's
don't know.
not you. See, this is it, Georgia. It's not you. It's the people that listen to our show. It's the people that are beyond that. You can only get as far as your voice will carry. And people shut this topic down, whether they feel guilty because they don't want to hear it, whether they don't want to talk about it because they're afraid, whether whatever it is. It doesn't. How is this not the topic of news every day in this country?
It should be the topic of
Yeah.
news every day in this country.
Of course it should
be. It should be.
Yep.
But you know what I've noticed? They make excuses to the Dalai Lama's behavior.
Right.
They make excuses to abusive people's behavior.
Yep.
But to a good parent or parents, they literally kidnap their flesh and blood from them
Yep.
happily with a smile on their face. You know what the social worker told the 13-year-old before she died?
What?
Before she died, the child went running to her mom. She kept running from the foster homes to her mom.
Yep.
She swore, her and her sister, that mom never abused grandma or even touched her. That grandma scratched her arm, told the police that it's from her daughter. Okay? The children were teenagers at the time and said, no, we didn't. Mom didn't do this. Grandma is the one that scratched her arm and blamed it on mom.
Yeah.
They didn't believe it. Before the 13-year-old child died, the social worker went, the child went hiding at her mom's house. The mom had to report her, to the social worker. And she didn't want to, but she had to do the right thing, she says.
Right.
They came and one of the social workers laughed at her daughter's face and said, are you happy now that we found you? Like she was taunting her.
What an asshole.
Taunting the child.
She'll get her day of judgment.
I hope she rots in hell.
After she pays her penance.
She is evil. They're evil. They're evil, 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 evil.
Yep.
And that's why it kills me when I hear anyone saying, oh, they took her kids because she's a bad parent. I'm like, how do you know? How do you know? Did you live with them? Did you eat with them? You don't know shit, America. You don't know shit, America.
The bad parents' kids aren't being taken. The system doesn't work because no one wants to pay for a broken automobile.
Nope.
And that's just the bottom line in it. Because they don't. I mean, come on. There should be a CPS agency in every project around this country. There's not. They got a police substation. I mean, at least that's the way it's up here. They're not caring about our kids. And furthermore, again, I ask all the senators, legislators, all these people, where are the kids that have collectively compiled and have gone array, because the numbers always say, oh, this year it's this many, because there's too many. Like we looked at it the show that day. I forget what the number was overall, but let's just say it was 250,000. I think it was close, that it said that we're fostered, adopted, and all that. And then we figured that the number of adopted was like 30,000 or something like that, right? Isn't that what we agreed to disagree on that? It was something along those lines. Okay, well, that would still leave 220,000 other kids in the system. And they didn't just start this. So you got 220,000 kids each year for the past 10 years is 2.2 million kids that aren't being adopted. Where are they? People need to wake up and start asking these questions. They need to be pounding their local senators and Congress people. Stop trying to get a hold of the people in Washington. They're not going to do shit for you. You need to start small, go big. Beat your town, then you can beat the district. Beat the district, then you can beat, whatever the next size up, and the next size, and the next size. There's plenty of us in each area that we can get nationally very quickly. But it needs to start at a small little, we need to reestablish what our goals are as a movement. We need to clearly tell everybody what those goals are and how we plan to achieve them. And we need to tell them what we're going to do about it once we get, once we get a stronghold on this situation. That's it. We need to do that. Educate people. Get rid of the stigma. Educate these people. Go get our fucking kids back. That's the way it's going to work. That's the only way it can work. And if people are too freaking stupid to think that this is like we're tinfoil hat wearers or we're crazy,
Hey
look
guys,
it up yourself.
Okay. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Darren, but I have to go because there's a client waiting for me right now. And so I guess we're gonna have to say our goodbyes right now, and then we'll see you guys next week. Okay?
All right.
I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.